All right. Let's start with team two. I believe Kalish, you weren't able to get your team in. Can you come on, Mike? Is there any, or is your mic dead? Mike might be dead. All right. You may not have mic capability. It's all right. All right. Let's go ahead and switch. I'll go to team two here. And oh, I forgot to ask you, can you guys upload your slides? So looks like team two went ahead and put their slide together. And all right, this is good. Fully loaded. All right, can you all see what that is? What we have here? All right, so one of you, team two, if somebody could talk about the problem statement and how you went, I'll try to just tell me what tabs you need me on.
Sure. I don't know if I can. If you're presenting, I can't see it.
Actually, oh, I didn't present it. Sorry.
Okay.
Again, there you go.
Okay.
And I believe you have access to it. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started here. We went into the weights tab. We may have cell referenced a little differently than I guess originally intended, but we started off and we went into the weights tab. And oh, are you saying I can control this?
Oh, I guess I have to. You know, it's funny. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You'd have to be on your teams. Oh, anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like I'm showing you teams, but that's not your teams. You have to be on your teams to. Anyway, it's weird. You're waiting up here. You guys discussed that. It looks like it went fairly fast, right? 30%.
Yeah. So we really wanted to, if you look at our problem statement, we want that muscle car vibe with a sporty feel to it. So that's why we cared about having a manual transition with those paddle shifters. Thought that would be a nice feature.
Okay.
So that's why those two are the highest. We don't really care about fuel efficiency or cost because we're a manly man. We got money.
Yeah, there we go.
And then comfort and safety is just kind of, it should be there, but not a huge concern.
And your weights here, when you did these scale explanation, you kind of translated what you just said, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I like the fact rear room says is 0, so it doesn't matter what the.
Yeah, we're not gonna sit back there. We don't need that. So cool. If it's there, it's there, but we don't really care that much.
Got it. Good. Good. Number of back seats didn't matter. 20%. All right, so you went through that, and then you went through each one of these, figured out what it is. So the results.
Yep. So surprise, surprise. Looking at the cars, you can kind of tell Baton was number one, which that kind of makes sense. To our surprise, the Liege actually turned out second, but I guess I can kind of see that kind of happening. But it was really close with Arrow, which is what I thought would be second.
That's interesting because Liege, I bet the reason it went ahead is your muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had high muscle. Yeah. And your Arrow doesn't have enough muscle, probably. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's got the second most. I think it.
Oh, it's this, your fuel efficiency. But that's even at 5%. Huh.
Yeah, I think it had to do with the comfort being so high, even though we didn't rate the comfort that highly, but the comfort was so high in the Liege that it ended up barely overtaking Arrow by 0.1, 0.01.
Oh yeah. So, absolutely. Wow, that's good. That's a good analysis. Now, when you guys do your homeworks, it's important you check your ratings. Yeah. So you didn't do it here, but you explained it perfectly. What you said is normally your problem statement would be a little bit more I want something more requirement-y late, and just say
Yeah.
the muscle was there,
Mm-hmm.
and explain how you met. Now, sometimes these get real close, and we'll look at the other ones to
Mm-hmm.
see if they had any that were close. But that was good. I'm glad you got, and I think you'll get a sense of how to use this if you want to use it for your homeworks. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
And I thought that was good too, that actually like
Yeah.
the liege did come in second, just so like it can show you like, okay, this is an objective analysis versus,
Mm,
the preconceived
exactly.
conceptions. So
Exactly. And we'll see what team 3 here. Did you guys get to upload your? There it is. Good. Um, we'll see what your results are. So this is a good example. So you notice that they are a family, but notice they're very close. And that's when you probably need to do a sensitivity analysis. You need to figure out what drove the liege to win and the dash to be second place. And is there something maybe up here of your weightings that you may want to rethink? So
Yeah,
anyway, let's get
we didn't
your
actually get to finish our.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you didn't okay, you're the one that didn't finish. So tell us how far you got.
I think we got to the third car. Um,
The carefree. Okay.
oh no, not even that. The one before it.
Oh, the weightings. Oh, you were at arrow or batten.
Yeah, I think we did batten.
Okay.
I did carefree, but I uploaded this before I did carefree. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so we our most important weight was safety. Um,
And you put it here.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see it up here. You put your weight safety at 30%. So
Hmm. Yeah, since it's a family, safety and comfort were pretty close in how important they were to our attributes.
I see.
Because you want that leg room, you want those extra seats for a family of
Mm,
four.
your comfort was high. Okay.
Yeah. Um, Reliability, because you're gonna have to go a lot of places, drop
Yeah, that's good.
your.
Yeah.
Um, Fuel efficiency wasn't as didn't seem to be as important as well as the other three, just because
Yeah.
didn't know too much about that. But but yeah, this
No,
is
that's good.
as far
That's
as
good.
we. So we expected to get what was that,
The SUV probably,
the
right?
SUV,
Or this one here would
this
probably be
one or the truck.
yeah, yeah. So, and again, that I like what your the other team was saying is this kind of shows that you're trying your best to meet the requirements you have. Now, eventually, when you're done, you do want to say, the liege won because, and then you just go back to the liege and say, well, had a good safety, higher than the rest,
Mhm.
and it's good, and you're just checking it against your problem statement. Make sure it kind of give you that gut feel as
Mhm.
you're doing it. But this right here, if this was the case, 76, 78, it might be close enough for you to say what kind of drove it. Look how close they are from a fuel efficiency and safety, and it looks like only your um, comfort was the big deal, and that's what threw liege into its place. But if you reduce comfort and maybe made fuel efficiency a little higher, it would be interesting to see how this would turn out. And of course, you would just put the number here and change it. So anyway, that's what's called a sensitivity analysis. What numbers are sensitive to this becoming, one if you just change it slightly. All right, next team. Good job, guys. I know you weren't able to finish, but still, all right. But you can. I'm glad you put the time into making sure um, that the thing was right. Okay. Team 4, did you upload your, or where did you put?
So I put it in the chat for this meeting because our team, well, me and Nasha can't access the files tab on our team.
Right. Okay. The other thing, I'm trying to, here we go. Oh, there it is. We got it.
Also, we did not finish completely, but we got through the weights and everything.
Oh, okay. So you weren't able to go to each car.
We
So
tried
did you struggle? I mean, what did you find about the weights? Were there a little bit of struggle trying to do it, or
we kept it pretty linear. So if you go to the results tab,
yeah,
on the front, yeah. So our scenario was a college student, so we really didn't care about much except for the cost and reliability and fuel efficiency, because college kids are generally known not to have that much money.
Yeah, I like it.
Everything else kind of factored into it, but relatively low compared to things dealing with the cost.
I got you. So it looks like, if you haven't gone through it, but it looks like Arrow won by a mile. I mean, you don't even have to do a sensitivity analysis. So
Arrow.
I mean, if you wound up with this, you would, but it's higher. Yeah.
But yeah, Arrow seemed like a really reliable car. It was pretty low on the cost scale, so it probably would have ended up on top even if we did go through anything. But through the first three, it was the leading candidate by a long shot.
And did you find negotiating this part? Is that what took you so long? You're just trying to figure out how do we actually make this work? Like, especially cost.
And describing if we wanted to do like a linear or a diminishing returns type of slope or anything like that.
Okay.
Some things, the first two levels way higher than the last level or anything like that. So it was some of the conversations trying to go through those.
Yeah, so I hope you got a good sense of how these lower calculations actually feed into this calculation. So even though you're doing a lot of work here, this only adds up to 5% of the total, right? So that's what I'm hoping that you'll understand. And so trying to split up your higher level into lower things, you'll find that's very helpful in the homework. So I hope you'll be able to do that. All right, good job, guys. I'm sorry that Khalees, you weren't able to get your team. I am recording this. If you could ask your team to watch all this stuff, and I don't know if you'll have time to work on something like this together, but you should watch it in order to make sure you do your homeworks properly. I also asked if you could do a trade study for your project. So we'll go through that near the end of today. All right, let's go ahead and finish up here. I want to get through this and then try to open it up to talk about the CDR, because actually one of the things I'm going to talk about here is what a technical review is and why we do it. So basically, this is where we actually assess the technical aspects of our system. So basically what you do is you define your system requirement, but then you do a design review. And then you start developing the program or system and design that system based on those requirements. You do another design review. And then you actually start seeing if you actually can develop the program and have measurements to evaluate the compliance to those requirements, and you do another design review. So all these design reviews kind of help you give you a feedback into how effective you are into meeting all the requirements. That's the big deal here, right? So technical reviews are when you get your program management officer and your contractor or government and civilian, right? Your government, civilian, your contractors, and they come together and they explain how far along they've gotten. So it's an oversight tool for program managers for them to make sure the program is indeed on track to doing. Now, there is the difference between technical reviews and decision gates. Technical reviews, you're kind of looking at where you're at, whereas from a technical perspective, where decision gates are like, I'm stopping work right now. I want to see how far you gotten. And if I like what you've done, I'll let you keep going. Because a decision gate could say, okay, let's, close up shop. We're stopping because you guys aren't anywhere near where we need you to be. So decision gates are very life and death oriented from a programming standpoint. Technical, it's like, give me feedback. How are there any trends I have to worry about and things like that. So actually, I wanted to give you this milestone review. If you notice, in DoD, you start with the actual milestone A. Should I proceed in actually developing this system? Milestone B, should I go ahead and start getting through the actual engineering and manufacturer of the system? And milestone C says, let's go to production, and then everything in between. But we also have, and that's milestones, that's based on regulatory and contract type thing. So, but design reviews, not the same. This is where you're actually trying to figure out where your design is and have you made the appropriate decisions. Usually it's you show all your alternatives and what design you decide to go with. And usually you have design documentation to go with that. And these are the reviews that occur throughout a life cycle of the system in a DoD realm. Notice you have your initial technical review, critical design review, system verification review, production readiness review, and test readiness review. So it's all throughout there are these reviews that give you an understanding of where you're at with your system. So now keep in mind, these reviews are very costly because everybody stops and starts working on what kind of review you need. Preparing for the meeting is probably the most important aspect because it forces the contractor to actually look at the criteria and see if they meet it. And what happens, sometimes they're like, oh, we're not even close. We better go back and revisit things. It actually gives them a good idea of what problems they're after. And you need a good chairman that can actually keep the proceedings going according to what you hope. And you don't want people that are really intimately, you want people that are intimately familiar, but you also want people who are outside enough to be able to give you good feedback. So, and scheduling the technical review is important. You don't want it too soon, too late. That's why they actually say, look, your schedule should be driven by the events that occur. In other words, do you have your design ready? Did you do your architecture analysis? Did you, make sure those are in place, and then you do your technical review, not just, here's a date, we better meet that date. That's a sign that the program's in trouble if you start doing that. So your system engineering management plan should have design reviews. There's a MIL standard out there, 15288, that actually talks to how these reviews should occur. And Appendix A is the system requirements review, all the way to Appendix F, which is the test readiness review, to Appendix K, which is the production readiness review. And basically, what you're doing is that each review, be it the initial system review or the system requirements review or the system functional review, you're actually going through and you're actually baselining and putting under control certain specifications. As a matter of fact, at the PDR, you should actually baseline your item design spec, your build to spec at that point. And your critical design review will actually get your product done at that point. And here are all the other technical reviews. All right, so this gives you an idea of what each review is for. I'll let you read this yourself. You have it, the PDF. But notice that a critical design review is a review that evaluates the completeness of your design in the various interfaces that are in place. Your test readiness review is, are you ready to begin testing the hardware and software? So you start looking at things. Do I have my requirements all set? Do I have my facilities and the tools that I need to do the testing all in place? Do I know what I'm testing? So those are the type of things you would ask for a test readiness review. So these are some best practices. Again, making it event-based, not schedule-based. Have your exit entry criteria looked at and make sure you know who it is. Involve subject matter experts and stakeholders as seems fit. Remember, you're looking at it from the entire technical perspective, so all the stakeholders should be there, and you should result in some kind of decision or change in their program, not just, oh, we finished that review, check. You know, you really should be something that actually gives you a good technical plan to go from a concept to an actual deployed system. Now, beyond the plan, you may do ad hoc reviews or do something where you see that trend starting to occur, get the people together and start talking about what you see. But the idea is to use these reviews as a way to get feedback. So formal reviews, very important. They satisfy your management and customers, and they're kind of a critical part of making sure you're getting feedback into your design, your implementation, architecture, and other things. Now, these are some things, a lot of times, there's some confusions that can occur during a review. There are some mitigation strategies. I have like about 10 of those that you can read up on. I don't want to spend too much time on this. All right, so for your next homework, what I want you to do is take an important event, be it buy a new smartphone, vacation. Look, you figure it out. Actually, I had one person give me a trade study on 2 girls, and he was wondering which one to marry. I just worried that the trade study would fall into one of the girls' hands and that'd be the end of it. But anyway, do the trade study. Only thing I beg you, do not do a car, because I already did a car with you and it's all set up. I want you to go through, if you want to use my spreadsheet, you got to learn the spreadsheet enough in order to make modifications, because you can't just add and subtract rows. You got to know what they're there for and how they feed back into the main system. So I give this to you in your assignment folder, homework 3. Do a personal trade thing. You already have the spreadsheet we used for this. But by the way, you don't need to do my spreadsheet. If you have something else that you use at work or that you're comfortable with, you can use that. Most people or most students, I find the spreadsheet works very well. Be sure you follow the 8 things. I ask you 9 things. State the problem, identify your main requirements so that you can use those for your criteria. Try to come up with 4 alternatives. Clearly define those alternatives and weigh them. And then pick your decision tool, be it something else or my spreadsheet. Evaluate your alternatives against the criteria. Validate. Don't forget to validate. Yes, this turned out to be the answer because it meets my requirements, and explain how that is true. And if you find that your top one is within 2 or 3.03 points to a second one, do a sensitivity analysis. Explain to me why one is higher than the other and what you could do for changing it up. If you follow everything I ask you here, you'll get a good grade. I guarantee it, okay? It's just so many times I get students that come back, they either don't finish what I asked them to, they don't put the requirements in, or they don't put the criteria, or they don't even validate the solution against the requirements. If that happens, you do lose points. So try to take these bullet points as well as the spreadsheet. It has 9 things you need to do, and if You do those 9 things, add a sensitivity analysis. If it's close, you'll do very well. All right. Team project. I'm sorry I haven't looked at your plans yet. I'll be sure to do that and give you guys some feedback. I'm pretty sure they're pretty good because they're up to you to follow that plan to meet your CDR. But I do want to come in here and just make sure that you guys are comfortable with what I'm looking for. These are all my expectations. I do need the artifacts delivered. Normally, what I would ask you to do is go into your team project right here. Go to your, sorry guys, go to your group page and actually go in and you have a file exchange. Go ahead and upload your artifacts here. Just a little easier for me to get to than Microsoft Teams. And I have them all in one place, so I prefer you to do that. So go in and make sure I get the artifacts. Where's the CDR? Down here. And your presentation. And these are the certain aspects of the presentation I'm looking for. You should be able to follow everything in terms of using core, figuring out your functional area of interest, and explaining and designing your FOI. A lot of this, like the block diagram and other things, come from 661, but I also had you do a homework so you can kind of, loosen up the wheels and get your gears in place. So hopefully you'll do real well. I don't expect each team should only require about 15, 20 minutes to give your presentations. All right. So are there any questions? I'll leave the mic open here. I'll be ready for any questions. If not, this is the end of the class. I don't believe I have anything else to say. Okay, you should be thinking about presentations next. So get that done. All right. So next week, we should get implementation in. All right, guys. So that's I have some extra slides if you're interested. All right, so that's where we're at. Any questions?
We were going to meet with you after class, Professor, right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, that's good, Alden. So your whole team will be here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How you guys, anybody else? Any questions? If you feel good, you're ready to do your homework, ready to do your trade, your project, you're on point and you're ready to present. Remember, you're presenting in 2 weeks. So we'll have class 6 next week. The week after that, you'll present your PDR and then you'll start doing your midterm. Okay. At that point, we'll talk more the next class. All right.
Thanks, Professor.
Oh, no problem. You guys get going. The team 2, I guess, Alden, you guys hang here and we'll talk a little bit.
Awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. All right. I think you're team 4, right, Alden?
Yes, team 4.
Professor, I got a doubt about the homework, the upcoming one.
Yes, Kalish.
Do we have to make? We can use the same spreadsheet as we did for our class exercise, or
yes,
we can create a new one.
If you do create a new one, you have to be sure to kind of get those same aspects that I had, where you have criteria and you're splitting it up and stuff. That's why a lot of people like using my spreadsheet because it's already done. But if you have something that makes sense, be sure whatever you do, I did give a lot of trait study examples that you could go in and look at to see if any of those would be please you more. But do something that you're comfortable with, that you've used in the past, right?
Yeah, because anyway we have to change the criteria for our grades, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I expect you to actually go in here. Let's do this. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Let me go back here. So I expect you to go in here, uh, put your problem statement, right? And then you start actually saying what it is. So if it's a computer, you put a picture of the computer here and say what the computer attributes are, right? For your weights. Figure out what you're looking for. So all this has to change up. And you may have to add things and stuff, but you have to make sure these formulas, like if you add something here underneath, make sure you have formulas that go back up there. And you'll be able to keep this formula, this one over here, working well if you follow through in terms of what you're doing. So it's a lot of work, but you know it's at least the foundation is there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, Kalish. And please, if you run into any problems, send me a email and we'll try to answer your problem. Okay?
Okay.
But I think you'll do well once you get into it. And by the way, tell your teammates this is recorded so they can watch this and be able to figure it out. Oh, okay. Thanks, Kalish. Okay. I think I lost him. Did I lose him?
No, it was Rohit actually. It was me.
Oh, Kalish, you're still there. Good.
No,
So,
it's Rohit actually.
okay. Oh, it's what?
Yeah, it was Rohit. It's Rohit.
Oh, okay. It's Roy, huh? Oh, Rohit. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. You're the one who asked, not
Yeah.
Kalish? Ah, sorry. I don't know why I thought it was Kalish. Sorry, Rohit. That's good. Okay, so you understand. All right.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, why don't we start talking? I don't even know if Kalish is on. He hasn't answered me this whole time, so he may be out. He may have came in and kind of his computer may have whacked out. So, what is it you guys wanted to talk about?
We're actually waiting for Nasher. I don't know where Nasher went. He's not in
Oh,
here.
did he know that he was supposed to be here?
Yeah, you knew.
Oh,
Marcus, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Nasha said his work computer was dying, so he had to call in on his phone. But he's been having some pretty technical difficulties today too.
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I think even if he came back. There you go. Nasha, you
Yeah, I
there?
just sent them. I sent them an invite.
Good.
Nasher, you there?
Yeah, he came back.
Yes, Professor. For some reason, the Microsoft Teams kicked me out. I called Hashem from the other team, and it wasn't letting me in.
Oh, wow.
It did that to me the other day, so I think it's just. But I looked on the MS Teams support site, and it's had a lot of problems authenticating people and leaving people logging in and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I thought like maybe because of like I have a work computer at the phone, so that's why it's not letting me in.
Yeah, no, I can see that too. Because if you have like certain roadblocks, what do you call it? Block in
Firewalls.
firewalls, and then I run into problems if you don't have the right authentications. They really will. Like if they're not done correctly, you
Yeah.
definitely. All right, yeah, it's a shame. I guess you have to use work. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to switch to collaborate just yet. The only issue I have with collaborate is what you guys will collaborate on in your teams. Like I need you to get into these PowerPoints and to type in. We might be able to come up with some other concept, but I'm going to have to look into that because
So what
maybe
I
collaborate's a little
felt
more.
is, yeah, what I felt is that the Microsoft Teams software, the application, if you install that in your phone or on your computer, it works. But if you go through the URL, it doesn't work fine.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, actually, I use Teams as an application. You're right. Yeah, I don't go through the. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. All right. So, what did you guys want to talk about? You're
Um,
the managed transit.
Yeah, so we just want some clarifications, I think, on requirements and what have you, um, of the of the system and whatnot. So, are we just looking when we go into managed transit and we go into log volume 1, we see